Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi says the committee that has been appointed to deal with issues of migration will soon present a comprehensive plan that will address the challenges of porous borders on the borderline. In an exclusive interview with SABC, Kubayi also indicated that the issue of illicit goods coming into South Africa is receiving attention. She says South Africa will continue to engage with other African countries on the challenge of migration. SABC Specialist Correspondent Sophie Mokoena speaks to Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi.
It's quite important for us to deal with the issues. It's starting to feel like a full-time job, but I still have to do my other job. But I think more than anything is for us to be able, as the government, one, to fulfill what we have committed to the people and what President has committed. President has said that we are dealing with this matter and it's going to be matters that the IMC must pay attention. He's given us the 5-point plan to implement, and we've committed that regularly will account to the nation. So we can't tire now. Until the administration ends, we'll have to continuously brief the nation in terms of what we are doing and in terms of the work stream that we have committed to.
Minister, your input inside here, you touched on issues of security. When you look at the borders, the bridges, as you participated in that discussion, what are you doing in terms of ensuring that our borders are not porous, particularly after this challenging moment where we saw South Africans taking to the streets complaining about undocumented foreign nationals? And many people were saying it's because we neglected issues of borders and security of the country without being very hard on fellow Africans, but as a country in terms of the laws of migration in the country.
No, definitely. I think the issue of infrastructure of our borders, borderlines, is quite important. You remember that at some few years ago, government had initiated a process of putting the fence. Unfortunately, there was corrupt activities that related to that. At least we are recovering the money through SIU. So that work needs to be undertaken. So through one of the work streams led by Minister Motshekga, we have now put together a plan with the time frames, with the areas, and also a comprehensive one that deals with the border entries, that deals with the border line, that deals with the technology that is needed. So it's about the infrastructure, the technology, and also the management of the people. But, it's not only just the fence, it's the roads, it's everything that needs to be done with across the country. That plan has been done. It's put together with projections of 3 years to be able to implement it. We will be taking it to Cabinet so that Cabinet can approve it with actually the expected projections in terms of expenditure that we are expecting. So once we deal with that...
What are the projections?
The projections currently estimates about 10 billion. We can say 9 billion. But they were saying to us, as they work in and modify the plan, it might come lower or whatever, but we're looking at various models to be able to deal with that. So once it's done, we'll be able to communicate. We're hoping that also some elements can have a PPP model, public-private partnership, or build, operate and transfer models that would be able to look at. So there are various areas that we're looking at and ensuring that this is actually be done. And once for all, we deal with the infrastructure. But we do believe that it's not going to deal with only the migration. I'm wearing another cap of JCPS. We have a lot of illicit activities that are happening, stolen cars, goods, tax. We lose a lot of money on tax, the cigarettes, illicit alcohol, and groceries that are passing and goods that we need to deal with. So the tightening there will help us deal with the issues of crime, and organized crime will help us deal with the issue of migration. That's why this plan is important for us to implement.
You touch on a thorny issue of illicit goods. The AU is sitting with a report from the former South African president on the illicit financial outflow, that money can be utilized to develop the continent. In terms of us, South Africa, what are we doing to tighten the challenge of illicit financial outflows through these goods and services?
Look, there's a task team that we are working with that has been established to work around the issues of illicit economy. You've got SARS there, you've got border management, you've got everybody that is there. National Treasury is led from National Treasury. So it's looking at that so that South Africa doesn't loot money. Revenue does not lose its products to illicit. So it's got that plan. That's why you would have seen, for example, the activities at your OR Tambo, you'd have seen the activities at the Bait Bridge. It's led by that task team, where they are able to detect utilizing intelligence-led operations that says this is the truck that has so many goods that are coming in illegally into the country that will undermine our economy, or even those that are going out that would undermine our economy, or even the issues of drugs that are coming in to undermine our security and also our social being of our people. So those is currently work in progress, and we are starting to tighten, but we do believe that the border infrastructure and ports of entry, tightening and making sure that we close that gap will assist us more importantly, because the activities that happens is not only around the money that is flowing through banks and all that. If we start by phasing out and closing out those goods in terms of the money, then we'll be able to generate income. Secondly, we signed the cybersecurity treaty that we are working to finalize in domesticating. That as well will assist us, because it will help us to work with other countries in terms of your digital crimes that would happen. We're currently sharing through mutual legal assistance with countries where people have committed crimes through utilizing your internet and all that. We are able to, but we do believe that that treaty, when it comes into force, will actually enhance the work, not only of the continent around dealing with illicit financial flows, because currently the crimes are now committed on the internet, on digital platforms, your cryptocurrency. So we'll see, compared to that time and now, I think the money, the estimated cost must be higher because of the cryptocurrencies and digital platforms.
How people are becoming sophisticated. Minister, the government of Ghana seems to be not happy. What is the problem, particularly with the Ghanaians? Are you engaging them? For me, it was a surprise because President John Mahama has interacted with politicians in South Africa, whether you talk of Julius Malema when he visited Ghana, former President Jacob Zuma, but also former South African president. And when he was the president, he interacted with the South African government. I didn't expect this tension with Ghana. Are you engaging Ghana to understand what you are dealing with?
No, definitely. Minister Lamola has communicated that was in Ghana this week to be able to hear from them, their concerns, and also for us to be able, through diplomatic channel, to engage. And this is what we've been calling for as South Africa, to say, where countries are unhappy with us, can we utilize the diplomatic channels to raise those issues and to ask us to explain if we have to explain. And because as a country we are willing, we are open and transparent in the manner that we do things. Where there are weaknesses, South Africa has never, and where there are challenges, South Africa has never been a country that shies away from taking responsibility or even acknowledging where weaknesses are. And that's why we want to appreciate the fact that the president in Ghana has welcomed Minister Lamola and allowed for that conversation. And we're looking forward to seeing the output of that conversation by action from both countries.